Hey everyone, my name is Emily Barker. Over the past several weeks, I have followed SmartPack, Purina, and Miss Pasture Cookies on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I chose to follow these three companies because during my freshman year of undergrad in a class called Entrepreneurship, my partner and I developed a hypothetical company called Snaffle Snackies. For many horses that are metabolic or suffer from an insulin dependent deficiency, Snaffle Snackies was a way for horse owners and for trainers to feed their horses treats and healthy ingredients without seeing the negative consequences of added sugar or added preservatives. So I mainly decided to follow SmartPack because the company started off as a feed and treat producer and then established into a very large equine both clothing company and also horse equipment company. I followed Purina because many people already know Purina. They're very established in their small animal and large animal products as well. And then I decided to follow Miss Pasture's Cookies because they're relatively small when compared to Purina and SmartMac. However, I wanted to see the progression of their social media accounts amongst the past several weeks. So I first looked into LinkedIn. When I was first introduced to LinkedIn, I saw it more as like a job posting site, not necessarily as a social media platform. And this wasn't really a surprise to me when I saw that SmartPack or Purina had almost no activity on their LinkedIn accounts. SmartPack hadn't posted anything within the last 6 to 8 months, and Purina posted relatively slow within the last couple months as well. And Miss Pasture Cookies also did not have a LinkedIn account, which I personally did not find surprising just because the company is relatively small. Moving on to Twitter, Miss Pasture Cookies did not have a Twitter account, which once again doesn't really surprise me just because the company is very small. Purina and SmartPack do have a Twitter account. However, I didn't see much activity. I personally think people more of like my age and younger are kind of staying away from Twitter. I personally had a Twitter account when I was in high school and I deleted it. I haven't used it much since. And then in the past several weeks, I started to reuse it again just for this assignment and just found myself not enjoying it as much as Instagram and or Facebook. So moving on, Facebook was very good. I learned a lot from SmartPack's Facebook page. They continuously engage their customers and their followers by doing fun polls, by doing giveaways, by if someone had a question, they would make sure they responded back in the comments. And the same was with Purina. I saw that their page had a lot of traffic, a lot of good support, a lot of good likes, a lot of good comments. It seemed like their followers and their customers were constantly engaged. And I also really like that SmartPack does a different blog post every month. And instead of just writing a random blog post, they actually asked followers and customers what they should write about and kind of what they want to see, rather than SmartPack just pulling a topic out of nowhere. It's something that is catered towards their followers and towards their customers specifically, which is something I really liked. Purina didn't do that. They don't have those monthly newsletters, but all in all, their Facebook page was really well established and there was a lot of good content on it. Miss Pasture Cookies is obviously very small compared to Purina and SmartPack. However, their Facebook page was well established. There wasn't as many frequent posts as SmartPack and Purina, but they still had good content and it was still interesting to read. Moving on to Instagram, all three companies I thought excelled pretty well at Instagram. Purina had some good content on their Instagram. However, my only complaint with them was that a lot of their Facebook pages and posts was the same as their Instagram posts and pages, which, I mean, it could be good and bad, but sometimes I think copying the same content over and over again and just using it on a different social media platform isn't always the most eye appealing. Whereas SmartPack had different posts compared to their Facebook and compared to their Instagram, which I personally found more eye appealing and more attractive rather than looking on their Facebook page and looking on their Instagram and seeing the same thing. And then same with Miss Pasture Cookies, they did a pretty good job differentiating between their Facebook and Instagram posts. So at the end of the day, I really did enjoy this assignment. I enjoyed monitoring these three companies and seeing the difference between them. At the end of the day, I would have to say that SmartPack was the most established, did a very good job with all their content across the board. Besides LinkedIn, which I think is okay, just because I think LinkedIn is mainly used for job posting, mainly used for job advice, things of that sort. So I wasn't too disappointed that they didn't excel in LinkedIn. However, as a whole, they're a great company. Their marketing production definitely knows what they're doing. They all around just a great company on their social media platforms. Same with Purina. A couple things I would change here and there compared to Purina and SmartPak. However, still not very many complaints for Purina. And then with Miss Pasture Cookies, for being the size that they are, I think it was totally acceptable for them not to have a LinkedIn, for them not to have a Twitter account as well. But at the end of the day, I've learned that it's very important to engage your customers and your followers by either doing interactive blog posts, interactive polls, interactive surveys, interactive products, and making sure that if a customer or a follower does have a question, that it gets answered relatively quick, just so it's not sitting in the comments and other people are wondering the same thing, which SmartPak did a very good job on. As soon as a question hit the comments, they immediately answered, made sure they cleared it up. If someone complained about a product, the same thing, they had a representative comment back and say, email us at this, we'll make sure you're satisfied. So all in all, I really enjoyed this assignment, and I'm glad that I got to look into SmartPak, Purina, and Miss Pasture Cookies on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook.